Greetings. Welcome to my channel where hope grows inspiration. Now, for the last few videos, I described the channel as the channel where inspiration grows inspiration. I think I even put that in the YouTube channel description. But you know what? My name is Karen Hope. And most of the people in my life that know me quite well call me Hope. Hopi or Hope. I'm rarely ever called Karen by itself. And you know, when someone calls me Karen, like, I'm not too quick to respond to that beckoning. I'm not. It's just because they don't know me. And I don't feel like I need to respond so quickly. So since my name is Karen Hope and most people call me Hope, why not say the channel where hope grows inspiration? Look, we are allowed to do things like that, especially when we are, which I believe we are all doing right now. This corona time has made us really look at ourselves, and it's forced us to do this. It's forced us to rebuild ourselves, recreate ourselves, refine ourselves, but the true self, our authentic self, the one that's really connected to God, the self that made us listen to our inner voice and change like that. Hey, the channel where hope, grows inspiration. I didn't think of that by myself. That was some positivity. That was some positive energy that I was opened up to. Like, I have released some things. We release things. When we release negative things about ourselves, negative beliefs and negative thoughts about ourselves, it actually makes room for positive things to come in. It makes room for and a reason for the universe to support what we're doing. I'm so serious about that. And while we're doing it, y'all, while we're doing this recreating and rebuilding and refining, we have to be patient with ourselves. We have to be patient, and we have to be gentle, and we have to be kind to ourselves, because all of these things that we learned about ourselves, those things that were negative and not true, it takes just as much time to unlearn them. That's why it's so vital to learn these things early on in life. Because when we're a little older, when we start to realize these things, these blessings, these realizations, this is a time to start celebrating our realizations and our blessings. It's not time to be picking ourselves up, although we always can and we always should, and we should always know that we can do it again, try again. We should get to a point in our lives where we just don't want to do that. We just want to chill and bask in, the fruits of our labor and just, after battling so long, we are no longer wounded warriors, and now we're just like the emperors and the empresses we're supposed to be, just chilling. Can you see yourself doing that? I can. That's what I want. So, okay. Now that we realize those are blessings, being able to celebrate ourselves and being able to look at ourselves and drop negative thoughts and habits and behaviors that were never good for our purpose, that were not for our highest good. We know that we can celebrate those things, celebrate that realization in us, realize it's about blessing, and go on to today's episode of Karen Hope's 15 Minutes of Solid Inspiration. The podcast, the daily podcasts, that today was produced and published about 9:30 this morning, Central Standard Time. I'm here in Texas. I say that because I checked my numbers today. My podcast, actually, it's in the United States, the Philippines, it's in South Africa, it's in Germany, it's in Puerto Rico, it's in Sweden, it's in, two other places right now that I can't think. Did I say the Philippines? South Africa. There's some more places. Like, I was so excited to see it. So right now I want to say that we are Texas time, Central Standard Time. And right now it is, oh wow, it's 12:12. I was meant to see that. Hand to God, I was meant to see that. You have no idea. I read something today about 12:12, and I read something today about the pattern, the number 12, and that pattern, and I'm glad to see that right now. It's all about what's going on right here. The universe is supporting me and us, and what's going on here. This, which I will always say, is an awesome exchange of energy. That's what I'm going to call our visits. An awesome exchange of energy. Now, before I start to talk about the podcast, I just want to quickly remind you all to please click that thumbs up button and comment about how the videos are, and comment about the podcast. If you take a listen, when you click on the links in the description box below, let me know how you're feeling, because this video and these videos, these weekly reviews and these daily videos and the podcast are for the both of us. They're for all of us. We reflect each other. We're reflections of each other. So if you let me know how you're feeling, then I can feel the same way, and I can cater this station and this station. Oh, I love it. This channel, but I like saying this station. I can cater this channel and the podcast, the messages that I feel every day to share. I can cater them to you and all of us, the reflections that we are of each other. So, and also, if it moves you, share the channel and share the podcast with your friends and loved ones. If we can't do anything for each other, we can pray for each other, and then we can inspire each other, right? Costs nothing. It costs nothing. And also click that notification bell. Excuse me. Turn that red bell into a pretty gray. We don't like pretty gray. We don't like pretty gray days. We don't like gray moods, do we? No, we do not. But we do like gray colored notification bells. Those are good things. So change it from red to gray for me, please, okay? Okay, now back to the podcast. And the podcast platform links that are below in the description box. Go ahead on and check them out. Check out today's episode, okay? Today's episode is called How We Do Is Up to Us. Check that out. And also, go back and catch up on a few more podcast episodes from last week. Or you know what? Look at the titles. Use your intuition. It'll tell you what to listen to. It will be just for you. I can guarantee that. Okay, now back to today's podcast episode. How We Do Is Up to Us. Again, you can find it in the podcast platform links that are in the description box below. Okay, use your intuition and find one that's just for you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to quickly wrap up. Not that quick, right? Not quick enough where I can't talk, right? We're going to quickly wrap up today's podcast announcement. It's done. It's published and it's ready for you to listen to, okay? And now what I'm also going to do is talk about what I wrote about today. The other inspiration that I shared today on social media. Now, on Facebook, they have that memories button, and I really like it. I really like it because when it comes to memories are the things that we're supposed to draw from. We're supposed to make good memories because we're supposed to draw from them. And so when we get to another place in life, we can refer to them and draw inspiration or courage or whatever it is that we need at that moment. That's what they're for. Also, but we're not going to always have good memories, right? The bad things happen, and we can't forget them. We can't. Even the ones that we do forget are still a subconscious blockage. They still, really, our mind and our spirit and our soul never forgets. It never forgets. So, it's good that Facebook brought me a memory today. The universe supported what I'm doing right now today and brought me a memory in the form of a short expression that I said that I completely forgotten about. I had completely forgotten about it. But it brought me to this realization, this blessing, that in a year's time, in a minute's time, and it doesn't matter. I'm 50 years old. I'm 50, and May 28th I will be 51. And that is nothing compared to a year. It's nothing compared to the 5 decades that I've been alive, right? I mean, like, what's that? It's like a drop in the bucket. But it's critical to go back on that time and draw back on that memory that the universe showed me today. I'm gonna give you a fact. This is a true fact. We cannot see ourselves physically from top to bottom unless we're looking in a reflection of ourselves, which is a mirror or another person, or at a snapshot or photo or video. There's no other way to see ourselves with our own eyes. There's no other way. So I got a snapshot of myself today through those Facebook memories, right? And I've changed. And, I've changed, and I tried to throw on some lipstick yesterday, the day before yesterday, to do the video because physically I've changed. Yes, I look like I'm getting older. I can't... It is what it is. I had to start embracing it. But I've changed. But I also can dig the fact that I've changed. That one little phrase that I said, it was my expression, but it wasn't expressing my true self. I'm getting in contact with some feelings because I'm letting go of some negative beliefs about myself and thoughts about myself, the things that I think that I can't do, that I would have never do, that I will never do. I'm letting those things go, and it's making room. It's making room for the universe to support me with those snapshots and positive experiences and, good memories, and even the bad memories, because I look at that as an opportunity to look back and pinpoint the things that are hurting me so I can get rid of it. So it's no longer a blockage that I can't remember. And if I can't remember it, like for instance, I talked about not liking to do videos because I went to school to be a meteorologist and I was on camera all the time. And it could have been a situation where, I'm telling you, that I saw someone, the most embarrassing thing could have happened to them. And just in passing, or just someone telling me about it, and it could have made a blockage where I never wanted to feel that. Like if I felt their embarrassment, I may not have ever wanted to feel that. I tend to do that. I will block things out of my life. For instance, I can feel a certain way. A person can make me feel a certain way. 5 years ago, 6 months ago, 1 day ago, they could have healed from that behavior. They could have walked away from that behavior. But I will still respond to them or won't respond to them, or won't react to them, or won't talk to them or interact with them, so afraid that they're going to make me feel like I felt before, and they may not even be in that space anymore, and I'm missing opportunities to rebuild friendships, or just have a friendship or have a bond. We talked about that. Talked about a lot of things, but that was one of the things. So what we want to do is, and the changes that we make in the year or the minute or the decades or the 5 decades, whatever it is, the time doesn't matter. It's just the change that matters. And it's always considerable, right? The change is always considerable, where it's like, wow, whether it's a positive change or a negative change. Now we could say positive. We can always say moving forward, right? And we know it's positive. Or we could say it's positive and we know it's moving forward. Or we could just say, hey, it didn't go anywhere. and we know that's negative. Or it sucks, so we really know that's negative. That's not what we want to do. And that's exactly the type of movement we don't want to have. We don't want to go backwards. We don't want to backslide. There are messages in it. There's lessons in it. But there's a better lesson in just getting it right. You know, a year is nothing when things are going right, right? But when things are going bad, and when we don't appreciate these things, when things are going right and we look back and we realize how much of our power we gave away and how much of it was gone, and where we weren't operating from a platform which is our true selves. We were not. We gave our power away, or was snatched away because we didn't have our power, or we denied it. That's usually what happens. We deny it. We deny God's voice. And you know how I know we say that? Because we always say, all of us say, we say, oh, I should have listened to my first mind, or I knew that, or this is the one, something told me not to ... You remember that time you said that? But it doesn't matter however we choose to feel about it, however we choose to look at it, however we choose to describe it. That's why we don't want setbacks. We don't want spiritual setbacks. We don't want emotional setbacks. We don't want physical setbacks. And guess what? When we have either one of those, it throws the rest of them off. Actually, it piles it up, and it causes an imbalance like you wouldn't believe. Like we can't get ourselves together, right? We call it being thrown off course. We call it being like off balance. We call it, out of sorts, out of pocket, out of steam, whatever we want to call it. It's all an illusion, though. I believe this. I believe it's all an illusion. I'm believing this now. It's all an illusion, but it becomes our reality. Can you... an illusion, that means it's not real, but it's our reality. We take it on as our belief and our truth, man. And guess what does that? We're not out of anything. We're not out of steam. We're not out of pocket. We're not out of all of those. So we're not out of sorts. We're just out of confidence. But here's the good thing, and I'm glad to be able to tell y'all, because it's not because I read a book. It's not because someone told me. It's because I've experienced this. Confidence comes back as soon as you call it. I mean, it's instant. We don't have to wait a day. We don't have to wait a week. Just as soon as we're ready, as soon as we say, hey, this is it. As soon as we say that, it's there. We get back on track with confidence. That's what confidence is for. And sometimes, and let me tell you, and this is what I wrote about today, the phrase that I said, the expression that I said was so broad. And it did not say what I wanted to say. And I said it today. A year later, I was able to say what I really wanted to say. I had the confidence to say what I really wanted to say. I'm on the video right now, which I would have never until 6 days ago, until I just had the confidence to say, until you had the confidence to say, until you had the confidence to stop smoking those cigarettes, or the confidence to stop drinking or over drinking. Because I'm going to say these things, smoking cigarettes and drinking, I don't want to say it's a good thing, I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but when I say we do too much of it, it's horrible. It's horrible. And so it's not good for us. So we just have to realize sometimes we have to actively, that makes a choice, do things all alone. We usually don't want to do anything alone. We don't want to be alone. But sometimes we have to actively do that. We have to actively be alone just to make sure that we can still do things actively on our own. It's important. Women, that's important. Men, that's important. It's important to teach our children. There's nothing wrong with that. When we get to that point in life, we have to change our mind. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being that bold if it supports our growth. spiritually, emotionally, physically. It's nothing wrong with being that bold if it supports our growth. We're supposed to be growing. That's what being alive is. That indicates living is growing. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going full force to do something when going slow is what was stopping us in the first place, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with looking at a missed opportunity as a loss, or getting something better, or another opportunity to win at something that suits our life better. When we remove the negative things from our lives willingly. Now, if anyone, excuse me again, when I get nervous, y'all, and when I'm just talking and I know I'm being looked at, it's one of those things. I get a little itchy here. It's a nervous thing. I'm going to get over that too. It's going to take a while, but I'm going to get over it because this confidence is helping me. Now, if anyone views us to be wrong for doing this, to making these choices, then they're far from being right. They're far from being right. They're nowhere close to being right. They're not even in the vicinity of rights. And if they can't get in that vicinity of right, their energy has to be left right there. And don't feel bad about it, y'all. Don't feel bad about it, because there's nothing wrong about that either. There's nothing wrong with leaving bad energy behind. Actually, it is the right thing to do. It's the best thing that we can do for our life. And it takes confidence to do it, and confidence tells us so. It does. So, confidence tells me I'm going to see y'all here tomorrow, right here on this channel, where hope grows hope. And to give you an update, we'll be giving you an update. I'll be giving you an update on Karen Hope's 15 minutes or 15-ish minutes of solid inspiration. Let me tell you, I get so excited. Since inspiration does what inspiration does, I just tend to make it a little bit longer than 15 minutes. Like this 3-minute video. Yeah, right. So please check out an episode by clicking on one of the links in the description box below. And until we meet again, okay, for Karen Hope's 15 minutes of solid inspiration weekly review, which is on Sunday, please remember, if someone is presenting you with things in your life that is not right for you, it needs to get left. It needs to get left. Y'all, see you later on this channel.